Welcome to Week 11 of the Grant Architect course, the final week of Phase 3 on financials and narrative. This week focuses on federal grant specifics, and this first lesson covers the Federal Register and Grants.gov. Federal grants represent a significant source of funding for organizations across many sectors, from universities and research institutions to nonprofits and state agencies. The federal government distributes hundreds of billions of dollars annually through grant programs. However, federal funding comes with unique systems that differ substantially from foundation or corporate giving. Understanding how to find and access federal opportunities is the essential first step. The Federal Register and Grants.gov are the two primary systems you must master. The Federal Register is where all funding opportunities are officially announced. Grants.gov is where nearly all federal grant applications are submitted. These systems work together to create the infrastructure for federal grant seeking. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how the Federal Register functions as the authoritative source for funding announcements. You will learn to navigate Grants.gov effectively. You will know how to set up alerts to learn about opportunities promptly. You will understand system outage protocols that protect you when technical problems occur. Note that interfaces and procedures may be updated. Always consult current user guides at grants.gov. This lesson has 4 primary learning objectives. First, you will understand the Federal Register as the official publication for federal funding announcements. Knowing the authoritative source helps you verify information and ensures you have access to complete, accurate opportunity details. Second, you will learn to navigate grants.gov as the central portal for federal grant applications. This system is where you will search for opportunities, download application packages, and submit completed applications. Familiarity with the interface before you need to submit is essential. Third, you will configure alerts and saved searches to identify relevant opportunities promptly. Proactive monitoring ensures you learn about opportunities early enough to prepare competitive applications rather than discovering them with insufficient time remaining. Fourth, you will prepare for system outages through contingency planning and early submission practices. Technical problems near deadlines can derail otherwise strong applications. Understanding outage protocols and submitting early protects your work. The Federal Register is the official daily journal of the United States government. Understanding its role and authority helps you navigate the federal funding landscape effectively. As an official publication, the Federal Register contains the authoritative text of federal government actions. When agencies announce funding opportunities, those announcements appear in the Federal Register. This is not one source among many. It is the source from which all other listings derive. The National Archives and Records Administration publishes the Federal Register every federal business day. This continuous publication schedule means new opportunities can appear any day of the year. Unlike some foundations with fixed announcement dates, federal opportunities emerge throughout the calendar. Content in the Federal Register includes executive orders from the President, agency rules and regulations, proposed rules open for public comment, and notices including Notices of Funding Opportunity, or NOFOs. For grant seekers, the Notices section containing NOFOs is most relevant, but understanding the broader context helps you recognize the Federal Register's comprehensive role in government communication. The authoritative nature of the Federal Register means information you find elsewhere ultimately derives from this source. Databases, alert services, and aggregator websites pull their federal opportunity data from the Federal Register. When you need to verify that information about an opportunity is accurate and current, the Federal Register is your definitive reference. Accessing the Federal Register is free and straightforward through its official website. The website at federalregister.gov provides complete free access to all Federal Register content. You do not need a subscription or account to read funding announcements. The site is designed for public access, reflecting the government's commitment to transparency in how public funds are distributed. Search functions allow you to filter content by the agency issuing the document, by document type such as notices for funding opportunities, and by keywords relevant to your interests. These filters help you find relevant opportunities among the thousands of documents published annually. Learning to use search effectively saves significant time. Daily updates mean new content appears each federal business day. The Federal Register is not published on weekends or federal holidays, but every regular business day brings new content. This publication schedule means you should check regularly or set up alerts rather than checking sporadically. Historical access to archived announcements allows you to research past funding patterns. You can see what an agency funded in previous years, how announcement language has evolved, and what the competitive landscape looked like historically. This research informs your strategic planning for future applications. Grants.gov serves as the central portal for federal grant applications, consolidating access to programs across the federal government. The function of Grants.gov is to provide a single access point for over 1,000 federal grant programs. Rather than navigating separate systems for each agency, applicants use one portal for most federal opportunities. This centralization simplifies the process significantly, especially for organizations applying to multiple agencies. The scope encompasses 26 federal grant-making agencies. From the National Institutes of Health to the Department of Education to the National Endowment for the Arts, nearly all discretionary federal grants flow through this system. Learning Grants.gov once prepares you for applications across the federal landscape. Activities you perform in Grants.gov include searching for funding opportunities using various filters, downloading application packages containing required forms, completing those forms within the system, uploading narrative documents and attachments, and submitting completed applications. The system handles the full application lifecycle. Registration is required before you can apply. Both organizations and individuals must create accounts. For organizations, registration involves additional steps including obtaining identifiers and designating authorized representatives. This registration must be completed before submission deadlines, so planning ahead is essential. Effective searching in Grants.gov helps you find relevant opportunities efficiently. Basic search allows keyword searches across all open opportunities. Enter terms related to your work, such as workforce development or cancer research or arts education, to find potentially relevant programs. Basic search is a good starting point but may return many results requiring further filtering. Advanced filters narrow results by specific criteria. You can filter by the agency offering funding if you have target agencies in mind. Funding type filters distinguish grants from cooperative agreements. Eligibility filters help you find opportunities your organization type can pursue. The Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance Number, or CFDA number, allows you to search for specific programs if you know their identifier. Opportunity status options let you view open opportunities currently accepting applications, closed opportunities that have passed their deadlines, and archived opportunities from previous cycles. Viewing closed and archived opportunities helps you understand what programs exist and plan for future cycles even when current deadlines have passed. Sorting options organize results by posting date to see newest opportunities, by agency to group-related programs, or by relevance to your search terms. Experimenting with different sorting approaches helps you review results efficiently based on your priorities. Setting up opportunity alerts ensures you learn about relevant funding promptly without constant manual checking. Email notifications deliver alerts directly to your inbox when funding opportunities matching your criteria are posted. This automation means you learn about opportunities as soon as they appear, rather than discovering them days or weeks later when preparation time has shrunk. Search criteria you define determine which opportunities trigger alerts. Specify your areas of interest, eligible organization types, target agencies, and other relevant parameters. Well-defined criteria balance comprehensiveness against noise. Too broad and you receive irrelevant notifications. Too narrow and you miss opportunities that might fit. Frequency options let you choose between daily alerts delivering each day's matches or weekly digests summarizing the week's opportunities. Daily alerts provide the fastest notification. Weekly digests reduce inbox volume while still providing regular updates. Choose based on how actively you are seeking opportunities and your email management preferences. Timing advantage is the key benefit of alerts. Federal funding announcements typically allow 30 to 90 days for application development. Learning about an opportunity the day it posts gives you maximum preparation time. Learning about it 3 weeks later means 3 fewer weeks to develop your application. Early notification translates directly to better prepared, more competitive applications. Saved searches complement alerts by storing search parameters for repeated use. Reusable queries save time when you regularly search for similar opportunities. Rather than re-entering the same filters each time, you save your search parameters once and reuse them. This efficiency adds up when you search frequently or have complex filter combinations. Quick access lets you run saved searches with one click, instantly retrieving current results matching your stored criteria. When you want to check what is available without waiting for alerts, saved searches provide immediate access to filtered results. Multiple searches can be created for different interests or roles. If your organization pursues funding in several program areas, create separate saved searches for each. If you work across departments with different funding needs, maintain searches for each area. The flexibility to maintain multiple searches supports diverse funding strategies. Refinement allows you to modify saved searches as your organization's focus evolves. When priorities shift or you learn which criteria work best, update your saved searches accordingly. Treat saved searches as living tools that improve over time based on your experience using them. The Notice of Funding Opportunity, or NOFO, is the official document announcing a federal funding opportunity and specifying all requirements. The definition of an NOFO is the comprehensive announcement that describes a funding opportunity and tells you everything you need to know to apply. This document is your primary guide throughout the application process. Reading it thoroughly and understanding it completely is essential for success. Content in an NOFO includes eligibility requirements specifying who can apply, application requirements detailing what you must submit, evaluation criteria explaining how applications will be scored, deadlines for submission, award information including funding amounts and project periods, and contact information for questions. Every element of your application should respond to something specified in the NOFO. The authority of the NOFO is paramount. The NOFO governs your application. Follow it precisely. If the NOFO says 12-page limit and you submit 14 pages, you have violated requirements. If the NOFO says use this specific form and you use a different version, you have violated requirements. Treat the NOFO as law for your application. Variations in terminology exist across agencies. The same type of document may be called a Request for Applications or RFA, Request for Proposals or RFP, Funding Opportunity Announcement or FOA, or simply a solicitation. These terms refer to essentially the same thing, the official announcement of a funding opportunity. Application packages contain everything you need to prepare and submit your application for a specific funding opportunity. Package contents include all required forms such as the SF 424 cover sheet, budget forms, and any agency-specific forms. Instructions explain how to complete each form and what attachments to include. The package is your complete toolkit for that specific application. The download process requires accessing packages through grants.gov for each opportunity you pursue. Do not reuse packages from previous applications, as forms may have been updated. Each time you apply, download the current package for that specific opportunity to ensure you have current materials. Form currency is maintained through the packaging system. When you download an application package, you receive the form versions that are current and required for that opportunity. This protects you from the common mistake of using outdated forms that can cause application rejection. Instructions in the package are specific to that funding program. While standard forms like the SF 424 have general instructions, the package may include program-specific guidance about how to complete forms for this particular opportunity. Read all instructions carefully, as they may contain requirements not obvious from the form itself. Understanding system outage protocols protects you when technical problems occur near submission deadlines. Documented outages are maintained in official records by grants.gov. When the system experiences technical difficulties that prevent users from submitting applications, these outages are logged with specific start and end times. This documentation provides an official record that can be referenced if you are affected. Grace periods and deadline extensions may be granted when documented outages occur near application deadlines. If the system was unavailable during a window before the deadline and you were unable to submit, agencies may allow additional time. However, these extensions are handled case by case based on documented impact, not granted automatically. Verification requires that outages be documented by grants.gov, not just claimed by applicants. You cannot simply assert that the system was down. There must be official documentation of the outage. Check grants.gov announcements and status pages if you experience problems to see whether a system-wide outage has been documented. Limitations mean personal technical problems are not covered by outage policies. If your internet connection fails, your computer crashes, or you experience software problems on your end, these are not covered. Grants.gov outage policies address system-wide problems, not individual technical difficulties. This distinction makes early submission essential for protecting yourself. Early submission is your best protection against both system-wide outages and personal technical problems. Recommended timing is 48 to 72 hours before the official deadline. This buffer provides meaningful protection while still allowing you to refine your application until close to the deadline. Submitting in the final hours eliminates your margin for addressing problems. Validation buffer gives you time to address any validation errors and resubmit. When you submit, grants.gov validates your application against various requirements. If validation identifies errors, you need time to correct them and resubmit. Discovering validation errors an hour before deadline leaves insufficient time for resolution. Technical protection keeps you ahead of deadline period system issues. System problems are more likely when many applicants submit simultaneously near deadlines. Heavy traffic can slow the system. Outages are more likely under peak load. Submitting early means you complete your submission before the highest risk period. Stress reduction improves both your experience and your performance. Racing to submit in the final hours creates anxiety that can lead to mistakes. Knowing your application is submitted lets you approach the deadline calmly. The psychological benefits of early submission complement the practical protections. Tracking your submissions ensures you have documentation that your application was received and can monitor its progress through the system. Confirmation numbers are provided when you successfully submit through grants.gov. Record this confirmation number immediately for every submission. This number proves you submitted and allows you to reference your submission in any communications with grants.gov or the funding agency. Status tracking in grants.gov lets you monitor your application as it moves through processing. After submission, your application goes through validation steps before being forwarded to the agency. Tracking status helps you identify any problems that arise and confirms your application is progressing normally. Agency receipt confirmations may come separately from grants.gov confirmation. Some agencies send their own acknowledgement when they receive and begin processing your application. Watch for these communications and follow any instructions they contain. Different agencies have different practices for acknowledging receipt. Documentation of all confirmations protects you if questions arise later. Save confirmation emails to a dedicated folder. Take screenshots of confirmation screens. Print confirmation pages if you prefer paper records. This documentation proves you submitted on time and provides reference information for any follow-up communications. Avoiding common pitfalls prevents problems that derail federal grant applications. Last-minute submission eliminates your margin for addressing problems. When you submit in the final hours, any issue becomes a crisis. Validation errors, system slowdowns, or technical problems cannot be resolved in time. This entirely preventable risk claims many applications every funding cycle. Outdated information causes problems when applicants reuse materials from previous applications. Forms change, requirements evolve, and packages are updated. Using old packages or forms rather than downloading current materials for each opportunity can result in rejected applications. Always start fresh with each new application. Ignoring alerts leads to missing opportunities or learning about them with insufficient preparation time. Passive approaches that rely on occasionally checking websites miss opportunities between checks. Active monitoring through alerts ensures you learn about relevant opportunities promptly. Assuming access means not verifying your account, permissions, and roles are correctly configured before you need to submit. If you discover permission problems the day of the deadline, resolution may be impossible. Verify your access works correctly well before you need to submit your first application through the system. Let us summarize the key points from this lesson on the Federal Register and Grants.gov. The Federal Register and Grants.gov are the essential systems for federal grant seeking. The Federal Register is the authoritative source where all funding opportunities are officially announced. Grants.gov is the central portal where nearly all federal applications are submitted. Understanding both systems is foundational for federal grant success. A proactive approach maximizes your chances of success. Set up alerts to learn about opportunities promptly rather than discovering them with insufficient time. Submit early, 48 to 72 hours before deadlines, to protect yourself from technical problems and allow time to address validation errors. Proactive practices distinguish successful federal grant seekers. Documentation of everything provides reference and verification when needed. Record confirmation numbers, save confirmation emails, and track submission status. This documentation proves you submitted on time and provides information for any follow-up communications with agencies. In our next lesson, we will cover workspace mechanics. You will learn about the roles required for federal submission, including the Authorized Organization Representative, or AOR, and e-Business Point of Contact, or e-Biz POC, and how to manage the submission interface effectively. Practice exercise. Visit grants.gov and set up an account if you do not already have one. Create a saved search for opportunities in your area of interest. Set up an alert to receive notifications when matching opportunities are posted. Explore the interface to become familiar with its features before you need to use them under deadline pressure.